Let's now have a look at some advanced automation tasks that you may want to build into a project. This will give you a little bit more idea of some of the flexibility that we can do with the Genie as well. What I'm going to first do, we're going to create a new page, and I'll just call this floor plans. Let's open that page up, change the resolution to suit our project, which in this case is iPad landscape. What I'm now going to do is let's change that background, change the background image, and we're going to scroll down to all our images until we get to floor plan. There we are. I've got a floor plan. Now that's just going to change the background image. That can be anything from a bitmap, JPEG, PNG. It's advisable to PNG, for example. Now that can be any scanned, any drawing of a customer's premises or whatever, and that's just the background that we can then put some images and put things on that we want to do. Let's drag it over this side here. Let me go to where my images are, scroll down, and let's add a light globe. So we'll add a globe onto the image. That's when it's not pressed, and we drag and drop and hit the shift key, drop it on top, and now we've got, when we're done, we might put that light globe, scale it to whatever size we want. It might be, say, just for the purpose of the exercise, one in the dining room. Let's cut and paste that. One for the family room, wherever you wish to put it. One in the kitchen, and so on. But let's just put that many for the moment. Let's go on and add a few other things. Maybe I'll put a line over here. Let's put a line over for the show the garage door, and we'll have this representing when the garage door is closed. We can make it a bit thicker, and we'll get a red line. Drag and drop that again, hitting the shift key. So now we can see when the garage door is closed, when the garage door is open. Move this into a position here. Go back and get a few more images for our example. Scroll down. Let's get a lock. It's when the door is locked. Drag and drop on that. We can put that at the front door, for example. Scale it down. So when the front door is locked, we can have a lock, unlocked, and let's just add a couple more so it gives a bit of a idea. Let's go down and get some grass, put some grass out here, and we can put sprinkler on there. So we can put this wherever we want, put a couple of images there, scale it till we want. Let's put it up here, the side of the house. So when the sprinkler's not on, we get some grass. When the sprinkler's on, we can see the sprinkler's on by not pressed and pressed. And we'll add one more. Let's go up and find it. And let's just drag a keypad across. Do that same image when it's pressed and not pressed. Scale the keypad, and we can see the status of the security system. Let's just drag that on up there at the moment. So we've got a few little icons here. As you see, we've got a few lights that we can control the lighting. We can control the sprinkler and see if the sprinkler is on and off. We control the front door, locked and unlocked. We can tell. We can see if the garage door is open and closed. So there's a couple of ideas that we're going to use in our demonstration. Okay, now let's have a look at getting these buttons to do some things for us. We'll scroll up to our M1 that we're using as part of this. And what I want to do first of all, let's say that sprinkler is controlled by output 3 of the M1. So we can go toggle output, and we can select output 3. Let's do that they're doing lighting. Maybe they're doing lighting control, and at the moment let's just say they're going to toggle a light. So I can drag this onto the dining room light, keep it simple. Dining room light might be light number 1, light number 2, light number 3. Maybe in the meals area we want to put a dimmer or slider on there. So let's go along, add a slider. We can scroll down to our slider controls. And we'll select that when it's not pressed. Go down. Select that when it's pressed. Hit the baseline. Let's get a vertical. We'll put it vertical this time. Okay, let's just get the button there to start with. We might put a slider here. We might want to reduce the size of the baseline to something a little bit smaller. We can then hit the shift key while holding the line there, and it reduces the button size, something in a bit of proportionate. Okay, now we can have a slider that slides up and down to dim the light, and that one will then toggle the light. We want to have that output over here, so again we can toggle an output, and let's have that one, for example, as output number 9. Okay, so we've got P in there that the buttons are programmed to do things. We've got our garage door over here. That might be controlled by, say, light output number 10 on our M1. Of course, the M1 we can have up to 208 outputs on the system. And we'll have that keypad shortly that can arm and disarm the system or can navigate to a more advanced security page. Let's put some text up here to tell if the security system is armed or disarmed. So I'm going to add a label, and I'll just call it security status. It doesn't matter because that is going to change state. Let's just call it security status for a moment. Change the font. Let's make it black. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And we can put another one. We'll see how this works on our live demo. Security ready, perhaps. So when we get this going, it's going to tell us is the security system, in a moment we'll show you how to do it, the security system is armed or disarmed, and this line here will say is it ready to arm, how many zones are still unsealed that we need to secure before we arm the system. So we'll have a look at getting the feedback on these buttons now. Okay, if I go back to this, our sprinkler system, go to there, we can see when the image is not active or when it's not pressed and when it's pressed. Now I want to get feedback on that. At the moment it's switching output 3, so because we want the image to change, I'm going to go down here to our M1 and go the output 3 status. So this will, the button, when I press the button, it will control output 3, and when the sprinkler is on or when output 3 is on, the image will change. Of course, if the image changes by any other means, maybe the sprinkler comes on at a certain time at night, when that time is activated and the sprinkler is activating, on the GUI page without touching anything we can see the status, so we can see it's on because we're picking up that output 3 status. If we now go to the light, it's light 1, exactly the same as we did before. We then go down and check the light status for light number 1. We've got this one changing for light 2. We go and check, get the status for light 2. So it's going to, the button will control the light and the status will tell me if it's on or off. Let's go to the slider. And the slider, we can do a couple of things. Let's change this here to maybe, 10 millisecond delay, and we want 5% increments each time. The feedback, it was related to light number 2. So let's go down here, and we want the status for light 2. And the function that we want to do is to pick up the M1 again. The function is to dim a light to a level. Light number 2, slider val, because as we mentioned earlier in the demonstration, we put in the exact JavaScript name, which is slider val, and it is case sensitive. We can select that. We're up here to light number 3 status. So it's just a matter of going back and getting the status to suit the task. We go to the front door. We go to properties for that. It's light number 9. So we want the feedback for output 9. And the last one on our demonstration here is we've got output 10. Output 10. Okay, so we've assigned all those. Next thing we need to do is assign the text. So it will pick up the live text from the M1 security system. So under properties here, what I want to do is go down and pick up the M1 arm status, which is a feedback from the M1, will tell us if it's armed, disarmed, what mode it's armed in. So we're going to get that text to change to security system status. So it'll be live feedback, and we'll get this one here to change. We scroll down, and the arm up, which is a name to say how many zones are sealed or unsealed, etc. If I wanted to, I can push that keypad. That can either launch another page, or alternatively, we can just push that and arm the panel automatically. What I'm going to do, I'll have that going to another page we'll create called security, and we'll show you how you can then put a keypad on the system to arm and disarm the security system, and we'll look at that next. So we've got all this GUI ready. We can get the feedback for the status of the sprinkler. We get the feedback and control of the lights with a slider built into there, the front door, outputs from here, and so on. Okay, so let's hit OK to save that. I'm going to now go down and create a page called security. So we add another page, security control, or whatever we want to call it. And I can then arm or open the security system that allows us to arm and disarm the system. Okay, now we might want to have this as separate, or we might want to just bring up another page that looks like we've added a keypad. So let's go and do that. We'll open up, change a web image, and let's bring up the same floor plan as we had. Okay, and now we might want to bring a keypad up at the front door, because that's typically where the keypad may be. So to do that, let's going to do a nice little tricky thing. If I had a keypad, let's see if we can drag this on. Let's not drag that on for a moment. Let's just delete that. And what I'm going to do now is let's just add a new panel. And a panel is like adding an image that's not going to do anything. It's just going to be another image over the top of an image, perhaps. So let's go down to a panel. Select my keypad. If I haven't gone past it. Which is probably the hardest part of a design in this project, is when you've got a lot of images is finding the one you want. There's the one we want. Okay, so it only allows one image on the system. Okay, so let's now make that a bit bigger so the customer can physically see the buttons to press. And what I'm going to do is, that's just an image at the moment, so to make those buttons live is we can go and get an image that is just a clear transparent. So if I go back to my images folder, open this, I've created an image here which could just be made by Photoshop, whatever you want to use. And what it is, it's an image that's 100% translucent, so I can see straight through it. If I drop it down over here so we can see it, you'll see just got the dotted outline, but I can see 100% transparent. And I'll drag this as when it's pressed. Again, I hit the Shift key over it. So now what I've got is a button here that's 100% clear when it's not pressed, and you can see it through when it is. And I'm going to put that over the top of the button. So it's like creating a hotspot on the top of a button. So I can hit, just copy and paste, Control C, Control V over the buttons, and so on, until we get all the buttons made. Okay, we're getting all the digits done. Let's cheat, we'll do 3 at a time. Control V. Okay, and let's do another one. Just get one over the exit, one over the stay mode, or whatever the case is. Now, just to give you an example how we get those, they're just buttons at the moment that are creating live. We can then go and create a digit for those over the button, so when they push it, it's the same as pushing a button on a keypad. Okay, now when arming or when assigning buttons to be pressed, let's look at this exit button over here, stay button. They might be nice quick one button presses to arm the security system. If we go across here, set arm mode, before we do that, let's just have a look at some of the modes of the panel. If I go back into the script, okay, we have to finish editing this first. I will open the script up again. We'll go across here to set arm mode. I want to set the security system into a particular mode. If I go in here, there's some notes in the script, and we just make a note of this. 0 disarms, 7 arm to next away mode, and 8 is arm to next stay mode. Okay, so we're going to use 7 and 8 on our examples. So let's cancel out of that. Go back to security. Move this across. Okay, so what we want to do is to make sure that that's going to arm to the next arm mode, and the stay button will arm to the next stay mode. So if I select set arm mode, I drag that across onto this button. It first of all says what mode of it we want to do. We want it to arm to next stay mode. It's this, so next arm mode. So it's going to be 7. And what code do we want to use? So we have to put in the master code that's used in the M1. And as default, it's 3456. But of course, if you've changed that, you change it to there. And that's now assigned to there. If I went in there and checked the properties, I can see it's script device, set to next arm mode. It's a 7 with the user code. And I can do the same for the stay button. Set the stay button, press that, and the mode is going to be 8 because we want to arm in next stay mode, not to arm mode. And again, the code that we have got authorization to do it, and we've now got single button for arming in this arming in away mode and arming in stay mode. Now, you may maybe you do, but it's not recommended to have a single button that when they push one button to disarm the system. Of course you can, it's nice and simple. We can just drag a button, drag the mode and make the mode 0, which is disarmed. But I want to use a keypad perhaps to disarm the system for added security. So before we do that, we need to add a script into here. Let's cycle down. We've only got a script for the cameras we saw before. So what I can do, if I went to my devices that comes with the Genie, and we've got a script here, a disarm script. If I right mouse click that, open with Notepad, we copy, select it all and copy, close it, go back to our project editor. Okay, and what I now want to do is go up to my GUI group, and we want to add another script, and this one I'm going to call security disarm, which opens a script, and we can paste the script into there. So this is a script to use for disarming using a pin. Okay, so we've now added that script in there. We can now assign what we want these buttons to do. If I right mouse click on those, and what I want to do is I want to go to an external JavaScript, and in here it's telling us what function we want to do and what data we need to put in here. So I want to put in here, let's get rid of all that, the function is going to be a key press, and in this case it's going to be digit 1. We hit OK. Go through, and I need to do this for each of the buttons. I can hit Control C and Control V, make it easier. Button 2, or digit 2, external JavaScript, digit 3, digit 4, and so on for the 9 or 10 buttons. Help if I remembered where we're up to. 5. It's number 5. 6. And so on. Okay, and all the way through to digit 0. Okay, so in this example here, we've got the digits 1 to 9 and 0. We can arm the panel in away mode, stay mode. Okay, and we've set those up. Now the next thing we do, if I just hit OK on that, go back to our original floor plans, and I want to now assign this here. When I press on that keypad, for it to open up the keypad, we need to navigate to a page. We want to navigate to the security page. So we go GUI security control, drag that on, and we've got the security page. So there's a few examples. Hit OK to save. There's a few examples of what we can do with putting everything together on a floor plan, some lighting. And if even I wanted to go further, not on the security page, if we go back to the floor plans, drag a crop. Now we have got some TVs here. For example, there's a TV in the living room. So what I could do is I could drag an image onto here and set that so when I press that TV, it would open the TV remote or your Foxtel or your DVD player, or if you've got DVD equipment, etc., and one in each room. So again, it's a nice way from a floor plan that you can open the remote control for that particular device based on a floor plan. So again, there's some good examples that you may want to use.